Greetings, esteemed gentlemen and dear listeners. I am Queen Elizabeth I, and as you might expect, I have summoned you both here today because who else would have the authority to call upon such illustrious company? Today, we gather to discuss leadership and diplomacy, and I'm quite eager to see what wisdom our two guests from across the seas and centuries have to offer.
Thank you, Your Majesty. It is a great honour, although I did consider bringing a cigar or two, just in case.
Well, thank you, Your Majesty. No horses today, just my big stick.
Wonderful. Now that we're all comfortable, let us begin with the discussion. What do you both believe are the most essential qualities of an effective leader? And, please, no jousting here. Just words, gentlemen.
In my view, unwavering determination in the face of adversity is paramount. As I once said, never give up. A leader must have the courage to stand firm in their convictions, even when all seems lost.
I concur with Mr. Churchill on the importance of courage and resolve. But I would add that a leader must also be a man of action. As I like to say, speak softly and carry a big stick. Diplomacy backed by strength.
Both admirable qualities, gentlemen. In my time, I found that a leader must also be adaptable, able to navigate the turbulent waters of politics with cunning and wit. One must know when to stand firm and when to bend, or perhaps when to make others think they've bent you.
Your Majesty makes an excellent point. Flexibility in tactics, while remaining resolute in one's ultimate goals, is indeed crucial. Though, if I may add, sometimes a good cigar helps with those tricky negotiations.
Ah, Winston and his cigars. If that's the case, I should have brought a barrel of coffee to this discussion. Keeps the mind sharp and ready for action.
I see we all have our little indulgences. But let's not digress too far. Tell me, gentlemen, what were the greatest challenges you faced during your tenures, and how did you overcome them?
For me, guiding Britain through the Second World War was undoubtedly my greatest challenge and, I believe, my finest hour. It required every ounce of determination and strategic thinking I possessed. The ability to inspire was crucial. In Britain's darkest hour, it was stirring words and an indomitable spirit that helped rally the nation.
In my case, mediating an end to the Russo-Japanese War and breaking up those big trusts back home tested my diplomatic and political skills. One must know how to balance competing interests and when to wield that big stick I mentioned earlier.
I can certainly relate to that, having navigated the treacherous waters of relations with Spain and internal religious strife. A monarch must often be a master of compromise, and occasionally a master of well-timed threats.
Well said, Your Majesty. There are indeed times when compromise is impossible and one must stand one's ground. Appeasement of tyranny only invites further aggression.
Agreed. A leader must know when to negotiate and when to charge up San Juan Hill, as it were.
Gentlemen, please, let's not turn this into a contest of who faced the biggest crisis. We've all had our fair share of challenges. Now, how do you believe the nature of leadership and diplomacy has changed over the centuries?
The fundamental principles remain much the same, I would argue. But the increasing interconnectedness of nations has made diplomacy all the more crucial.
And the advent of new technologies has changed the nature of warfare and communication. A leader must adapt to these new realities. In my day, we saw the rise of mass media and its impact on public opinion.
Fascinating. It seems that while the tools may change, the essence of statecraft endures. Now, one final question. What legacy do you hope to leave for future generations?
I hope to be remembered as someone who never wavered in defense of freedom and democracy, even in the darkest of times.
For me, I hope my efforts to conserve our natural wonders and promote the strenuous life will inspire future Americans to greatness.
Noble aspirations, both. As for myself, I hope that my reign will be remembered as a golden age of English culture and power, and perhaps as a time when a woman showed she could rule just as effectively as any man. Pauses. Though I dare say with considerably more style.
On that, Your Majesty, we can certainly agree.
Here.
Well, gentlemen, I must say this has been a most illuminating discussion. Who would have thought that three leaders from such different times could find so much common ground? Though I suspect our methods might differ slightly. Smirking, I, for one, never needed to ride up any hills or puff on cigars to make my point.
Perhaps not, Your Majesty, but I'd wager you had your own ways of clearing a room when needed.
Indeed. I imagine a stern look from Queen Elizabeth would be worth 1,000 of my big sticks.
You flatter me, gentlemen. Now shall we conclude our meeting with a toast? To strong leadership, wise diplomacy, and the enduring spirit of our great nations. And perhaps to the hope that future leaders might learn a thing or two from our little chat.
Here.
And with that, dear listeners, we bring our royal dialogue on leadership to a close. May the insights shared today inspire leaders of all eras to come. Farewell, and God save the Queen, namely me.